Greetings everybody, today we'll talk about one of the best Mercedes sports saloons, W211 E55 and E63.
1, 2, 3!
It's like that.
I will try to explain the difference between two engines, their problems and which one is to buy today. Let's start from M113K. It is loved for its reliability, tuning potential and not very complicated structure. There were few variants of M113K. Some engines had higher compression ratios in supercharger and better fuel injectors, and it developed 28 brake horsepower more than the standard M113K. The last year production G55s had those engines. The output of those engines in G55 models was 504 brake horsepower. And there are rumors that few other models got the same upgrades. In general, there are three different variants of M113K compressor. Now let's talk about the famous tuning potential of M113K. First thing that tuners improved was the cooling. They added the extra radiator. After installing it, you got immediately more power without any complications. Also, many tuners simply changed the cooling compressor and changed the fuel management system, and they could easily squeeze 600 brake horsepower without opening the interns of the engine. M113K had 3 valves per cylinder and 2 sparks per cylinder. Problems with it are very rare, but it is important to keep up with the maintenance. In my experience, it is one of the most reliable engines from Mercedes. It developed from 480 brake horsepower up to 500 brake horsepower, and it developed 700 Nm of torque. 100 km E55 to reach in 4.7 seconds, and some tests showed even 4.2 seconds. When W211 E55 came out, it destroyed BMW E39 M5 and new Audi RS6. It had almost 100 brake horsepower more than the Ferrari 360. And nothing could challenge the superiority of E55. Many consider that W211 E55 started horsepower war. Also, E55 was the best-selling AMG until C63 came out. W211 E55 shocked the world. 5 years later from its debut came E63. And on paper everything did not look so bright and shiny for Mercedes. New M5 with its magical V10. And Audi went mad with its new RS6 that also had a V10 with twin turbos. Also, Audi took torch of being the most powerful German saloon from Mercedes. Audi developed 572 brake horsepower, and BMW M5 and Mercedes E63 developed only 507 brake horsepower. But this time, AMG developed M156 themselves, and it was not modified from Mercedes, it was AMG designed from ground up, and it was a true racing engine. AMG offered lighter crankshaft and upgraded rods and forged pistons from SLS AMG in 2010 as option that you can order in any AMG with that, and the special Black Editions AMG had all that stuff as standard. M156 was lighter, more exciting than M113K, and you felt all the upgrades very good. M156 had twin sister with beefier interns called M159. The M159 could develop up to 630 brake horsepower, and at that time it was the most powerful natural aspirated V8 in the world. M156 had aluminum engine block, also it was a closed deck design. It was first mass-produced engine that had twin rear arc spray coating on cylinder walls. It had 4 valves per cylinder and only 1 spark per cylinder. It was Engine of the Year in 2009 and 2010. And C63 models got the tuned engine that generated sensible 451 brake horsepower. It was one of the lightest V8 in production. It only weighed 200 kilograms. Although it was not easy to modify it as M113K, the layout of M156 could adopt supercharged kits. M113K is one of the most reliable engines. If you service it on time, it will last up to 200,000 kilometers without any problem. I made review of E55 with more than 100,000 kilometers and it was tight as a drum. But M156 was a completely different story. It had problems from the factory. First problem is the most famous problem, it's the head bolts. They could snap anytime. After 2011, Mercedes made new head bolts and changed head bolts in all the M156 engines, so the problem was gone. Another problem was with the early wear of cylinder heads. The valve lifters were wearing out the camshaft. Usually problems was with the intake valves. As any racing engine, it needed high-octane fuel and oil change every 6,000 kilometers. You will have less problems if you properly maintain this car. It is believed that C63 had more reliable M156 in them. On my channel I have reviews of both W211 E63 and E55. And difference in horsepower was not big. Same body and same interior, basically same technology. But the power delivery and general feel of the car was completely different. It was like you drove two different vehicles. E55 was predictable and you expected the power delivery. It was very peaceful. A little bit exciting, but more peaceful. It was controlled madness. All that power that it had, you can use it and you were not afraid. Behind the wheel you can even feel the little tiny delay from the supercharger that was very cute. And you had this like 0.23 seconds before the madness will come. And M113K really felt as a tuned engine. I didn't feel that it was factory made. But M156 was a completely different animal. It was totally different. You can feel the madness even with the slight touch of the acceleration pedal. And the sound was just pure and so nice. You could feel how it was talking to you. It was very aggressive. The engine was rev happy and when you drove it you were happy. You got the instant feeling that it was a pure racing engine. It screams at you AMG when you just turn the engine on. When you drive W211 with M156, you are just happy. You are always scared and it feels like the car is trying to kill you, and the stability control system saves you all the time, but this engine will not stop trying to kill you. It will give you one of the purest drives in your life. Personally, I prefer W211 E63 because I fell in love with this engine. This is the same wild feeling that you have when you fall in love with the most toxic person in the world and she loves you back. I would buy well-kept W211 E63 in a heartbeat. Just remember to always have at least $5,000 for a rainy day. It is a 11-year-old Mercedes with a racing engine. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about my video and which engine is best for you. Also, I notice many of you watch my channel without subscribing. That's very creepy, so start being creepy and subscribe. Take care and bye bye.